Well, September is National Suicide Prevention Month. A recent report from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention shows the national suicide rate has increased more than 25% since 1999. In Florida, the rate of suicide has risen more than 10%. But according to the latest numbers from the Florida Department of Health, suicide rates in South Florida are the lowest that they have been in more than a decade. For every 100,000 Florida residents, Palm Beach County had the highest rate at roughly 12 suicides. Broward County follows close behind with nearly 11, and in Miami-Dade County, the lowest rate of suicide there at approximately 8 people. Knowing where to go and who to turn to if someone finds him or herself in crisis is the first step in getting help that they need. That's where 211 Broward comes in, and 211 all across the counties in our state. They are a helpline providing those in need with support from trained counselors, connecting people in crisis to valuable resources in the community 24 hours a day. Here to share more about their work and suicide prevention is Billie Morgan, Special Needs and Behavioral Health Program Manager for 211 Broward, and Sue Glasscock, CEO of the nonprofit House of Hope, a community partner with 211 Broward. Ladies, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Really important topic to talk about suicide prevention. Let's talk about 211 and the services, Billie, that it provides. A lot of folks may not know about this service that they have.
And I'm so glad to be here today because 211 is the number to call when you don't know the number to call.
Okay.
It's a 24-hour information and referral helpline and also the crisis helpline for Broward County. So we respond to all those calls and we're able to connect the community to those critical resources and also respond to those in crisis.
So if a call comes in, what does a typical call sound like? Because we were talking earlier and somebody doesn't usually say, I'm contemplating suicide. It's a little bit more complicated than that, right?
It is. Now on our line, what we do have is a prompt when you hear if you're having thoughts of suicide, press this number now, and those calls will be prioritized. And that's good for those who are able to identify where they are. Now, a lot of our calls are for basic needs, but our counselors are trained to be able to respond and assess and see if there's an underlying need that they have that's beyond their basic need that they're calling about. And through that, they might say that I can't go on anymore, or it's just too much, or I'm feeling hopeless. And we take that risk to ask at 211 to say, when you're feeling hopeless, are you thinking about suicide? And you can hear the shift in their voice, and they will say, actually I am. And they didn't know that we could be there and be able to talk with them and connect with them and help them turn to safety.
So Sue, let's talk about what you do at House of Hope, because you're one of those services that someone who calls 211 might be referred to, correct?
Correct.
So explain to us what you all do.
We provide substance abuse rehabilitation for men and women in Broward County, and we are a resource for people who don't have other places that they can go. They may not have the financial resources for the treatment, or they may not have insurance coverage. So we're able to provide that. And the issue is when you come into when you're ready to come into a substance abuse facility, you're usually completely overwhelmed. Your life is often pretty out of control. So it often it's kind of intertwined, because we may get somebody who becomes suicidal because of the addiction, or somebody who has the addiction because they have, undiagnosed mental health issues. So we're trying to get involved at that level.
Yeah, you were telling me earlier that what you try to do first is really treat the mental health portion before you get to the addiction, correct?
Yes, and a huge number of people who have addictions start out trying to address some of the feelings that they have or the thoughts that they have that they can't get under control, and they're undiagnosed and untreated mental illness. So they'll start to self-medicate. So after that, we move into, now we have two problems, which one is the mental health issue that we have to address, and then two, we know have an addiction. So there's also a very high tie between alcoholism and suicide. So everyone that we bring into for our services, we do a thorough suicide assessment to ensure that they're ready to accept the treatment in a safe environment.
Because they have to be ready for that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Billie, talk about the kinds of folks who are calling. We talked earlier about, are they young people, are they older people? And you said you get people from all walks of life who call, right?
Exactly, all ages, even youth call us if they're in crisis. I mean, youth that recently experienced the Stoneman Douglas shooting call us if they're having trouble sleeping at night. We're here 24 hours a day for them. We have youth that are calling us, and we have seniors that are in crisis as well, and everyone in between. So we're able to respond to any call that comes in and be able to address those needs and give those essential referrals to our community, and as well as help that person find hope. And it might just be a call where we're just listening to the person and maybe helping them find life connections and reconnecting if they're feeling isolated and alone.
We were talking earlier about the rate of youth. It has increased, hasn't it? And it's, what were you telling me? It was the second largest cause of death is suicide for young people between what? The ages of, you said, like 15 to 24?
That's correct, yeah. From 15 to 24, it's the second leading cause of death.
Wow.
And so
that's so alarming.
It is. And we're out there raising awareness about how you need to reach out for help.
Yeah.
And if it's not 211, reach out and connect to somebody you trust. And if they don't know where to go, we have this number here. We have 211. And we also respond to the Lifeline, which is the billboard you might see, the 1-800-273-TALK.
Okay.
Our South Florida 211s respond to those as well. So we're able to connect those callers and assess for suicide and link them to interventions that they need.
When the young people call, what is it that's concerning them? I mean, we talked about how they're young, they haven't had a lot of life experience, but what they're going through is very acute at that moment, right?
Right. We're non-judgmental. We're here to listen. We care. And so whatever they might be going through, that's their crisis. And so we're not going to judge about what their personal experience is, because they may not have a lot of life experience, but to them, in that crisis, we need to address it as if it's their crisis.
Yeah,
so we'll help them maybe find some healthy solutions, or we might just help them find some resources and connect them to what's important.
Is it social media? Is it problems with friends? Do you see a theme?
Anxiety? Anxiety is a big indicator. And there's depression, there's anxiety, there's issues at school, and a lot of students, even our really successful students, put a lot of pressure on themselves to succeed. And so we get calls where they say, I made a B on a test. And to them, that's their crisis.
Huge, yeah.
And so we need to address, those types of crises so that we can help them maybe mitigate those feelings and maybe just try to take it from a different angle and just really be non-judgmental and care.
And so you were talking about how the period of time that somebody's contemplating suicide is a short period of time, right? Talk to that.
It is a relatively short period of time, and that's the key, to have somebody that they can speak with. I think particularly when you talk about adolescents, if they're talking to their friend may not be the best sounding board for them, because they may not have life experience as well. So this may be the first call that they make to talk to anybody at all. So it's really nice to kind of give them that relief that somebody can hear you and they won't be appalled by what you're saying, and it's not as scary. But yes, the period of time that a person's in imminent danger is a relatively short period of time. So it's having the ability to walk somebody through that process, and if needed, put them into a hospital, because sometimes that would be the best recourse.
Right.
But if you can get them past that, you can see that it's a long-term solution to a short-term problem typically.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's helping them to see that. And the biggest issue with adolescents is they don't know that. They don't see that, and their friends don't know that. So it's kind of hard. As an adult, you have somebody you can talk to usually, and it's somebody who can give you, some advice. Often they're afraid to bring up suicide to somebody because it's a shocking thing to say to somebody else. In the mental health field, we ask.
We're not afraid to talk about it.
Well, that's what you do, is to try to pull those things out of folks so that they will feel comfortable and start communicating, right?
Well, it's a relief, though. It's a relief, because they're thinking it, and they don't know where to take it, and they don't know what to do with it. And it can be very shocking if you mention it to a family member or whoever else, or, oh, you're just, feeling depressed, or they kind of, dismiss it.
Sure.
This is nice when you've got somebody that goes, I'll bring it up. Let's talk about it.
Right.
Let's talk about it and get it out in the open.
How young because House of Hope is just for men, correct?
No, we have a women's facility
women's facility as well, but that is another name, doesn't it?
Stepping Stones.
Stepping Stones, okay. So how young are the folks that come in? Do you have to at least be 18?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And we do a lot of referral for people who are under 18, because there are other programs that are out there. But yes, we see men and women over 18. And again, there's an assessment at that point to figure out all the myriad of issues that they're dealing with, so that we can help connect them to places within the community to help meet their needs.
And how long does somebody typically stay? Just depends on...
Well, it depends on a number of things. We can have anybody from 30 days up through 18 months.
Okay. Billie, let's talk a little bit about some of the success stories, because you've had folks who call in and you follow them through. It's not just a one-time call. You stay with that person. But tell me, you were talking a little earlier about a young woman who called in.
Yeah, and we get these calls regularly. I mean, every day we're receiving crisis calls, and we're glad for it.
Yeah.
One of our recent calls that we had not too long ago was a young lady, and she had experienced not only thoughts of suicide, but she also experienced a sexual assault. And so she was experiencing and needing a myriad of resources. She didn't know where to begin, but she had saw the number 211, and that's where she started. And being as young as she was, she didn't have a lot of coping resources. She didn't have a lot of trust, and she couldn't really turn to her family in this time of need. So we were able to hold her hand and get her connected to those critical resources, and also we follow up with our callers. So we want to make sure that they get connected to maybe the outside interventions that we provide. And we may be able to make a call together with you to somebody you trust so that we can hold your hand through that difficult process, and we were able to get her to turn to safety and help her find those connections that she needed to stay safe.
If somebody calls in with an issue like that, that also has a criminal element to it. She's been assaulted.
Exactly.
Do you bring in law enforcement?
Absolutely. We're mandated reporters, so when that does happen, and if they are under the age of 18, we also have that, or a vulnerable population. We are all trained, our counselors are highly trained to be able to respond to those and get our mobile unit that we connect with through our community or 911 involved. And law enforcement is a big part and part of this big picture of keeping that person safe.
And she called 211. So where did she find the 211 number? That's the other issue too. And I'm so glad that we're able to have you guys on and talk about this today, because there may be a lot of folks out there watching this who have never heard of 211, or they had heard it but they didn't know what it did.
Right.
So how did she find out about it?
So we're doing a big push in our middle schools and high schools to have a poster in those high schools that says if you're having issues with substance abuse or dating or having thoughts of suicide, depression, relationship problems, call us. We're here to talk. And so they can call us day or night. And we get those calls all day long and all evening to help that person through that difficult time. So that was one of the things that we're doing. And we have palm cards, and we have a lot of resources out there. So reach out to us if your organization does need those. And we want to make sure our community doesn't keep this a secret. Tell people about 211.
Right. Yeah. And what financially do your organizations need? They're supported by whom?
We're a nonprofit, so we do get funding from the Children's Services Council, United Way, the county, and many other organizations, municipalities, so and donations from our community. So that's what keeps our doors open and keeps us running.
We're funded through primarily Department of Corrections in the state of Florida, but we work with the mental health community in Broward, but we are certainly always looking for people who are willing to support. I think the thing with us is we have 2 people a day are dying in Broward with substance abuse addiction or overdose. And so getting that word out and letting people know and raising everyone's awareness that the opioid epidemic goes across the board. But financial support as well as volunteers make a difference.
And I love your motto is the greatest gift in life is a second chance. Thank you all so much for being here and getting the word out. We really appreciate you being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And if you or someone you know is in crisis and needs help, you can call 211, or you can call 954-537-0211, or there is the National Suicide Lifeline. That's 1-800-273-TALK. Of course, we'll have all of these numbers for you and more resources available on our Facebook page at Your South FL. And do you have a comment or a personal story to share about suicide prevention and awareness? We'd like to hear from you. Give us your take about this or any other topic on today's show. You can send us an email or post a comment or a video on our Facebook page at Your South FL. We always look forward to hearing from you.